Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. And as discussed in my last session, today we are going to discuss about how to implement Singleton Design Pattern. We are going to start implementing Singleton Design Pattern with the simplest method, and then we'll keep extending it to learn about more and more different ways of implementing the Singleton Design Pattern. So in this session, we are going to implement the simplest method, as I said. And in this method, what we are going to do is we are going to create a class. I wanted to keep the name of that class as Singleton, just for a better understanding. But it doesn't matter that you can keep any name, right? And we need to have a private constructor. Why we need a private constructor? We'll just check now. We need a static attribute. Why do we need a static attribute? Also, we'll find out. And this is one of the method which is returning me a Singleton object, right? After checking if this static variable, static member instance has null value or not, right? So let's open Visual Studio and try to implement the same. Okay, so this is my new program here. It's a console-based application that I've opened here. And to start with, I'm not going to implement this Singleton Design Pattern first. I'm just going to create a simple. I'm going to create a simple class, and I just wanted to create some object and see how the object instantiation works, right? And once we understand how the object instantiation works, then we'll further extend that to implement the Singleton Design Pattern. Okay, so let's make it public first. Okay, so it's nothing. I have not written anything here. I just said class Singleton, and I've just created a constructor with no argument. There is no code, right? So now, if I say here, I wanted to create an object for Singleton S1 equal to new Singleton, and then again, if I say Singleton S2 equal to new Singleton, right? The expectation is we'll get two objects, S1 and S2, with two different memory locations, and it will be two separate, and it will have two different identity, two different locations, and it will have its own memory and everything, right? And it can use all the methods, whatever we will have within this class. It can use its variable and everything the way we want to implement, right? Now, just to prove that S1 and S2 are two different, I'm just doing a check here. S1 equal to S2. Console that. Console right line. Both objects are same. Else, see, both objects are different. Okay, so if you see, I have not done anything here much. I have just created one class, Singleton class, this public class, and I have a public constructor here. And I wanted to create first one object, and then I'm creating a second object using new keyword, and I'm creating two objects, and I'm just trying to check if the both objects are same or both objects are different. So in this case, the expectation is that we should be getting both objects are different. Let's try here. I have pressed F5, and the result here is both objects are different. This is as expected. Now, but this is not the goal of the Singleton Design Pattern. Now, let's try. What we wanted to do is, when I say Singleton S1 and once I have Singleton S2, right? And if I'm allowing the user to say new Singleton, what is going to happen is it will always create a new object. So what I need to do is I need to make some way so that the user should not be able to say new Singleton. See, he should not be able to do this. If he is not able to do this, and then provide an alternate way of getting the object of the Singleton class, then we will be able to implement the Singleton Design Pattern. So how can we do that? Let's see, this is our constructor, right? So whenever we say a new singleton, right, what it does is go and it comes here and then it tries to run the zero argument constructor, right, default argument. So what if I do, if I make it private? Wait, right? So the moment I have made it private, if you see it, you see a red line here, and it says singleton is inaccessible due to its protection level. It means now we have restricted the user that he cannot go ahead and say a new singleton because it's not going to work out. It means now we have done one thing. We have restricted the user to say users cannot use new singleton. Now, if I say you cannot use new singleton, then I have to give some other way, right, for the user so that they can go ahead and create an object. So this is what is here. So what we have done is we have created an instance, right? Sorry, we have an attribute of static. So I'll just go ahead and say, put it here, private static singleton instance. Now, why do we need static? If you remember in the first session, when I was talking about the singleton design pattern, I said, first time when I say singleton as well, right? And I wanted to get a new object created, whatever the way, I will define a new way as well. Whatever the way we wanted to create a new object, for the first time, whenever we try, it should be able to create a new object, it should return me an object, and S1 should have an object of singleton. But then when I say singleton S2, and when I try to get the new object, what my singleton class is expected to do is, before it can create a new object, it has to check whether I already have created an object of this class or not. And if I have already created an object of this class, then I should not be creating a new object. Rather, I would see what is the object that I have created and I'll send the same object, right? So to do all these things, we need to have some kind of global variable, right? We need to have some global repository which can remember the value of a variable irrespective of which one is trying to access, whether S1 or S2 or S3 or S4. Which object is trying to access that meter, irrespective of who is trying to access, I should be able to remember, I should be able to get that. So what one of the way that we have in C# to achieve that is make that variable static, right? Make that attribute static. So static, so that is why we have created a static member here, and the type of this attribute is singleton class, right? So this is the type. Now what we need to do is we need to give some way to the user, right, so that he can get a object of singleton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a method. So public, right, and then static, and return type should be singleton, and let's say my method is get instance. Why? Because the work of this method is just to give me a instance of singleton class, right? Now what I am trying to say is I'll go ahead and say, and one of the things that we wanted to implement here, before we go ahead and return the object, we must be checking whether if I have already given the if I have already created the object earlier, right? So we need to do some kind of check. So I'll say if instance equal to null, right? Then go ahead and create an object, right? Instance into now new singleton. So it will create an object and then return instance, right? So now what is going to happen is, now instead of saying new singleton, what I'm going to do is I'll say this class singleton dot get instance, right? And here also I say singleton dot get instance, right? So now When I say singleton s1 equal to singleton dot get instance, it's going to come here. For the first time, because this is for the first time creating an object, it will see if instance is null, right? This time it is null. I have not instantiated with anything, it's null. So what it is going to do is it will create a new object, and that object reference will be saved in instance variable, right? And this is of type instance. So it can hold an object of this, and then it will return, right? So now S1 has a object, right? S1 has some value, some reference. Whatever the reference that we have in instance, the same is coming to S1. Now I say singleton S2. Singleton get instance again is going to come here. It will check if instance equal to null. No, this time it's not null, because earlier last time we have already put some already we have instantiated instance. Now as it is not null, so it will directly come here and return the instance. It's the same reference, right? So S2 will also get the same value, right? And just to make sure and just to check if both are same or not, I'm doing this check S1 equal to S2. And this time, because S1 and S2 both are referring to the same reference, same place, same memory, right? At this time, I should be getting both objects are same. Let's try to run this. I'm pressing F5 and I'm running. And if you see, the output is both objects are same, right? If I wanted to implement, let's say I wanted to see singleton S3 one more time. S3 equal to singleton dot get instance, right? Let's say create third one, right? And then let's check S1 equal to S2 and S1 if equal to S3, or I can say or S2 equal to or S2 equal to S3. Either of this, either S1 is equal to S2 or S1 is equal to S3 or S2 equal to S3. In any case, I'll get, let's say instead of saying both, so I can say at least, or I can do one thing. I wanted in my expectation is that all three should be same, right? It shouldn't be that any two of them should be all, right? So I can say S1 equal to S2 and S1 equal to S3 and S2 equal to S3. It means if all three are same, then it will say all the objects are same. Otherwise, it will say not all the objects are same, right? So if all are same, we'll get into if. If not all are same, then I'll say okay, not all the objects are same. Fine. So now I have three, and we are trying to create first object, second object, and third object, and then we are checking if S1 and S2 both are equal, and S1 and S3 are also equal, and S2 and S3 are also. It means if all three are equal, then only I'll come here. If anyone is failing, I'll come, right? So now let's run it. I'm pressing 5, and the output is all the objects are same. It means we are able to implement the Singleton design pattern. We are able to restrict the user, that the user cannot create the objects, multiple objects at the same time from class Singleton, right? Now, there are some loopholes. For this session, we can stop the session here. And in the next session, we'll try to get into the loopholes of this, because this is not thread safe. And we'll see how to make this class thread safe and all, and how to see that how it is not thread safe, right? We'll understand all those things in my next session. And one more request to all of you, whoever is watching this video, I request you all to, when we are watching this video, please just don't keep watching the video, but try implementing the same along with while you're running this video, so that you can understand it and you can keep this thing in your mind for a longer time. And it's going to help you in understanding the things very easily. Also, when we are going to extend this class even further, it might become a little bit more complex. But at that time also you'd be able to grasp it because you'd be understanding it completely, right? And also, if you think that these videos are helping you out in understanding the Singleton design pattern, and it's making you confident enough so that you can say that yes, you understand what is Singleton design pattern, how to implement, and if you wanted to implement in your project, you can go ahead and implement it, right? Then please share this video with your friends and your colleagues whom you think that they can also get benefit out of it. All right. And that's all for now. And we'll again meet in the next session where we'll be talking more about the Singleton pattern. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching this video, and see you all.